Hi and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. This video I'm going to be talking about the materials I use and how I use them and why I use them for doll repainting. There's no doll this week because I got so sidetracked. I started working on many dolls at the same time and then I never managed to finish any of them, and I wanted to do a Billie Eilish doll for this week. It's a whole mess. Anyway, I'm so excited. I got a new doll lot from eBay, 25 new dolls, so I'm so happy to start working on them. And also, I'm hoping by the 1st of June, I will be ready to start selling my dolls and launch my own Etsy shop. Just a little bit about me. I started repainting dolls about 3 years ago, and the first video I think that I ever saw and inspired me was Hextian repainting Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is my favorite childhood character. She means so much to me, and I was like, maybe I should try doing it, and then I forgot it for a few months, and then I stumbled again on that video and I was like, okay, I really want to try and make one for myself, and that's what got me into doll repainting. And then I found Andrea and I fell in love with her stuff, and then Delightful, and that's how my journey started. I started working on dolls, and then I took, I think, a small break for a few months and then restarted again a little bit more sporadically, and it's been now a few months that I'm trying to make at least a doll a week and trying to perfect my craft. Okay, so let's start talking about products. I will talk about sealants first. I live in a small island, which is very hard to get stuff, and also because there's not a huge market for these things, it's very difficult to find stuff. So for me to find Mr. Super Clear has been very, very difficult. I am finally, I found a few places, the shipping was very expensive, or most places did not even have it in stock, but I finally found 2 places that I get it from Greece, and life has been magical since then. Okay, so I'm going to start off with what I have tried first and the reasons why I don't like them and the reasons that I'm using Mr. Super Clear. So the first thing that I found, I went to many art shops looking for stuff, and the first one that I found was this Liquid spray. And it's anti-UV, and it's a matte varnish. It was okay-ish. I didn't have the color payoff that you get with Mr. Super Clear. Pastels would catch onto it nicely, but colors didn't. Also, I have found that a few of the dolls that I have used this sealant on, their face has yellowed up a bit through the years, because, as I said, my first doll was made 3 years ago. So yeah, she looks a little bit yellowish. So I would not recommend this. I don't know if anybody anyway uses this, but it was the first thing and the only thing that I could find. So the next sealant that I tried using was this Liquid matte varnish, which it's in liquid form and you dilute it with water. I saw Andrea using it and I was so happy that I was able to find it. It's Liquid in general is very easy for us to find in my country. I had better results with this than the previous one, but still it wasn't super, not the color payoff that I wanted. The reason which I did not like this, I used to use it with my airbrush, which resulted in destroying my airbrush. I've tried after every use to clean it very thoroughly, but still it would clog up and it would not clean. And the other reason which I did not like it is, it used to give me like white spots on the doll, which I don't know if it was clogged up product that was coming out of the airbrush or what was the reason. I was diluting it with distilled water. I was not using tap water for best results. Again, And I also tried the other method that I saw a few people trying. I also saw it from Delightfully, was the sponge method. And it was not giving me texture. It was very smooth, so nothing would grab on it. So it didn't work for me, and as it did destroy my airbrush, I was not able to use it anymore. I use it on lips now if I want them to have a matte finish, or on accessories just to seal them and give them a matte look. And the last one, which is Mr. Super Clear, that for everyone who does dolls, they know what I'm talking about. It's an amazing product. I have amazing color payoff. And I did hear from a few people that they have problems when it's raining or when it's there's a lot of moisture. To be honest, in my country, especially in the summer, we have a lot of humidity. Sometimes it's hard to breathe. I live next to the beach. It's like a 1-minute walk from here, and it's always in the summer. It's just crazy. We're always sticky. And to be honest, I've never had issues with it, ever. Yes, it is a little hard to find in some places. It's totally worth it if you find a supplier. Also, one more thing about Mr. Super Clear, which is something that I usually forget to mention in my videos because I always rush and freak out, and never mind. Is that I do 3 layers for the first layer of colors, let's say. I like to spray it in between, like half an hour. First layer, then I let it dry for half an hour. Second layer, half an hour. Third layer, I leave it on for 24 hours before I start working on a doll. And the reason is that I leave it on for 24 hours before I start working is to make sure it's 100% completely dry, because I find that if it's not completely dry, because I found out, especially like if you're in between layers with colors, if it's not 100% completely dry, it starts scratching the layer from underneath, which results to removing your color and ruining your repaint. Hi! Someone came to say hi. Hi, this is Mochi, one of my little demons. And one of the other reasons that there's no doll video this week is that this one and my other little demon broke my ring light, which I use for lighting the area of the video and to be able to see. They broke it for a second time. The first time they just broke the lamp. This time they broke the whole thing, which cost me as much as buying a new one to fix it, but I didn't want to wait forever for it to come from abroad. The postal office has so many delays with the current situation in the world, so yeah, I had to pay for that. If you start using it, you'll understand it's a holy grail product for dollar painting. So the next products that I'll be talking about are colors. A lot of people are using watercolor pencils, and to be honest, when I started, I saw a lot of artists were using Faber-Castell. I'm recommending them, or Duart colors. So when I went to the art shop to buy some colors, they had both. I mean, Faber-Castell, we all know them. I've had them since I was a little kid, and they're much affordable and cheaper. So Duart were too expensive for me because, well, I didn't know if I would be good at doing dolls, if I'd actually enjoy it, even though since I was a little kid, my dream was to work for Barbie and design clothes for Barbie. But it's completely different to create a new doll, do her hair and everything. Anyway, so I didn't want to spend the money, and I went for Faber-Castell. Also because I was spending a lot of money on buying dolls and other supplies, I decided just to go for the cheaper one, and then when I decide to, if I like this hobby, I would upgrade. In general, I enjoy drawing, so I had other products at home, colored pencils, and I also had some Prismacolors because we had to buy them for makeup school. For those of you who don't know, my main job is a makeup artist, and we use them to create face charts for projects, for makeup projects. Anyway, so I did try, and this is like even before I started working with Mr. Super Clear. This is like in the beginning when I was using Liquitex varnish with the airbrush. That's when I discovered that I had those Prismacolors, and I tried them on and I had an amazing color payoff. So I asked my aunt, as they're not available in my country, I've looked everywhere, to get me a box from Michael's for those who live in America. And I use the Prismacolor, the Premier ones. They're not watercolor. They are, I think they are wax-based, if I'm not mistaken, and the color payoff is amazing. After I got these, I did manage to make a whole doll just by using colored pencils, no acrylics at all, and I was so happy with it. You can even find her on my profile. She's just a simple Draculaura. I did her for Valentine's Day, but I was so proud of her. As for watercolor pencils, I use these really cheap ones that I had from back in the day when I was studying in university. That's like ages ago. They're just like W.H. Smith. It's an English shop, and they have some art supplies. They were very cheap. I don't use them really for painting the doll. I use them just to get gradients usually and add some shadows. I've been alone for the past 2.5 months. I don't talk a lot, so I'm getting tired when I'm talking. I'm not used to it. So because it has a lot of colors, sometimes I use them for eyebrows to get some lines, but that's about it. I hope that soon I will get some extra colors of Prisma. I have my lists ready. And yeah, so what I do is I use them wet, and I usually use them like between the lips just to get that shadow in between. So the next thing is soft pastels, which are basically chalk, and you use them for blushing mainly. I bought these Dollar and Roni and Reeves. Reeves is the color of acrylic colors that I use, and I've been using them for years, ever since I started painting with acrylics, and they're pretty good, so I thought that the pastels would be the same. And this one, it's just a brand that I found and I got them. They're not bad, but they're not amazing. A lot of artists I know, they use Mungyo, their Korean brand. We can't find them here, but this changed the game for me. A few months ago, we were cleaning out one of our closets, and that was a closet where I had a lot of old paintings from high school, and there was some products that were in between those paintings that got left behind and forgotten. And I found this, which is Faber Pastel. It has 48 colors inside, and the payoff of the color and the pigmentation is amazing. So these are very good. I totally recommend them. And now I am going to talk about high gloss varnish that I use on the eyes and usually on the lips. I like where their lips are like so glossy and shiny and cute. I use high gloss varnish from Liquitex. I have tried other varnishes which ended up being sticky after a few months and have ruined some of my first doll repaints and my Sailor Moon doll repaint and a few others, which is a bummer because the color, it starts like melting off slowly, and I have color all around their eyes, and I avoid fixing them, and the reason is that I really love those dolls, but it took a while, and I changed the color of their body to give them a skin tone, and I know just by removing the eyes it would be impossible, so I have to redo the whole thing, and I'm just being lazy because I feel bad of destroying them completely. At some point I know I'll fix them, especially once I renovate my house and I make a special like display for my dolls. I will fix them before putting them in the display. As of right now, I am shooting this video in my makeup studio because I don't have a doll studio yet, but I'm hoping in a few months when the house is renovated, one of the old bedrooms that belong to my brother, as he's getting his own house, I will turn it into a doll studio. So yeah, my recommendation is this: make thin layers, let them dry in between so this doesn't get sticky. I've heard from a few artists, but I've never had issues, has never been sticky for me ever. So the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about today is hair, doll hair. What I like to use are this ponytail extensions. You get them from AliExpress for 2-3 euros, and depending on how long you want the hair on the doll or how long the ponytail is, you get about 3 to 4 dolls rerooted. So it's very, very cheap comparing to doll hair. Okay, you don't get the beautiful custom blends that you can get from a doll hair shop, but it's a very, very cheap alternative if you don't want to pay $10 just to reroot one doll. The only drawback which I find from this is that the hair strands are a little bit thicker than doll hair, so it is a little bit harder to style, especially if you want to do an updo or curl the hair. It is possible to boil wash and curl it. It's just a little bit more resistant when you're trying to do the curl, but they curl very nicely. And because the hair is thicker, when I want to do a doll with like a ponytail or like 2 pigtails like my Melanie Martinez video, I don't reroot the complete doll. I just go around and I do like 2 or 3 lines, enough to cover the head, and then I put it up. And the last thing that I will talk to you guys about today is my rerooting tool. This is it, and I made it myself. This is the base of an X-Acto knife, and you unscrew it and then you can put your needle through. And I just buy needles from the, I don't even know what to call it. We have special stores for sewing, and I cut it using a metal cutter in an angle, and then I reroot my doll. So that's it for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm looking forward to your comments, and I hope everyone is staying safe. We have been in quarantine for the past 2.5 months. Only this past Monday our measures has started becoming a little bit more relaxed, and we are allowed out of the house a little bit more, and the shops have finally started opening as they've been closed for the past 2 months. The only thing that was open were supermarkets. So I'm hoping things will go back to normal soon. I'll leave my social media underneath so you can follow me, and I'll see you next week with a new doll video. I would like to hear your recommendations, like what dolls I should do, any creative ideas in the comment section. I will also leave my TikTok. I make short videos while I'm customizing the dolls. So yeah, hope to see you next week. Bye!